morning, everyone. You're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a podcast brought to you by Joy's House, and we're happy you're here. Caregiver Crossing, if you don't know, is a podcast that was created just for you, the caregiver. I'm Tina McIntosh.
I'm Terry Stacy. We're here every week with experts from across the country to provide some comfort and resources and joy to our caregivers. And we're here to serve, to embrace you, really, the family caregivers of today and also tomorrow. So thank you all so much for joining us this morning. And Tina, we've got another great guest.
We do. And it's a topic that I love. I love to talk about. It is sensitive and scary for a lot of people, but Madison is going to help comfort us and bring some additional resources. So Madison Gonzalez is the executive director at Morning Light. It's a local not-for-profit here in Indianapolis that focuses, they focus on, well, I'm going to let Madison actually tell you about it because they have two different things that they do. We're going to focus on one of them, but Madison, welcome to Caregiver Crossing, and tell us a little bit about what Morning Light does.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on. I'm really excited to be here and hopefully shed a little bit of light on a topic that I know can be a bit scary for people, like you said, and that topic is hospice. So Morning Light Inc.'s core mission is really to provide care, dignity, and comfort to those at the final stage of life. So our main mission is the Abby Hunt Bryce Home. The Abby Hunt Bryce Home is a beautiful 12-bedroom facility here in Indianapolis, and our residents come and stay with us for free because we don't want finances to be a barrier when it comes to access to hospice care, comfort, dignity, like I said. At the end of life. And so our main mission is just to educate the community on what hospice is and what the goal is, and hopefully remove a little bit of the stigma around it. I know a lot of people don't want to talk about death, but death is a natural process, and it's part of the human experience, and it doesn't have to be scary, especially it doesn't have to be something that's done alone. And that's really something that Morning Light, that's the message that we want to share.
And you're able to do this for free.
Yeah. And Terry, I want to talk real quick about the atmosphere there, because have you been to the Abby Bryce Hunt home? I got to go and visit with Madison and Rocky and some others there just recently. And it's beautiful. I mean, first of all, the home is beautiful, but it's more than that. I mean, the home is beautiful. The garden is beautiful, all of that. But it's the fact people who wouldn't otherwise have a permanent address can come there to live out their last days at no cost, but filled with compassion and care and love. And you can feel it when you're there. So I know you were going to ask another question. I just had
that was really it. And that's pretty much it. That was my question: is how are you able to do this, and kind of what it felt like to be there at this home. You're saying this is a real home here in Central Indiana or in Indianapolis that's been turned into a hospice.
Absolutely. So, Tina, I'm really happy to hear that you felt that when you were with us. That's our main goal. The home is the home, right? It's the structure, but we really pride ourselves on being the family as well. And, that hand to hold at the end of life. We are able to do it for free with community support. So we are a nonprofit. We fundraise and we use our investment portfolio to help support our operations. But really, it's about getting the word out to the community. We accept donations. We do have events throughout the year to fundraise and teach people about hospice and hopefully raise some money to support our facility and our mission. But we do offer it for free. So we are the address. Like you said, people can't receive hospice if they don't have an address. Hospice is the program. It's a health program that everyone is entitled to. When you've been given 6 months or less to live, you have been given a terminal diagnosis. You don't want to desire, aggressive intervention or go through, treatment anymore. You're willing to just accept the fact that, you are at the end of your life and you want to experience peace, at the end of your life, and comfort measures and have that support. And so when people have reached that and made that decision that they're ready to let nature take its course and want that support, then we partner with hospice teams in Central Indiana, hospice providers, and then we are the home and then the caregivers and the family. So that's the part that we step in and play. We are that address so they can receive that benefit.
And I think that that lends itself to a natural question. And I know that the Abby Hunt Bryce home, I just said it backward.
That's it. That's okay. Abby Hunt Bryce home. Yes.
The Abby Hunt Bryce home. I know there's a misconception that it's people who are they're homeless, living without a home. And while some of the folks who come to live out their days at Abby Hunt Bryce home may be indeed homeless, that's not entirely true of everyone, correct? I mean, what would get somebody in your doors? Like, what is their situation possibly that would bring them to live out their days with you?
Sure. Correct. So we absolutely have had people who are, homeless come to our home, but you don't have to be homeless to utilize the program. Really, it's for anyone who is state poverty level, monthly income of $2,000 or less, have received a terminal diagnosis and again, declined to actively seek treatment with that, being given 6 months or less to live and then are overseen by a medical professional. So those are our requirements. I think, a shift that we really had within the organization is to meet people where they're at. We don't want to create barriers. So we've really kind of loosened some of those restrictions. And, it might be a situation where a loved one is in, a hoarding situation and it's not necessarily a safe environment anymore, or where, they are just on their own and maybe they require a wheelchair and they're on the fourth floor with no, elevator, where it's just, there's these physical barriers to having a suitable living environment where the hospice teams can then come in and help provide that care.
Tina was telling me before we began our conversation and telling me about a caregiver respite program. Talk about that, if you will, just for a little bit.
Absolutely. So again, we're really trying to expand how we can meet people where they're at and serve our community with the resources that we have. So caregiver respite is something that was born of the idea that there's just not a lot of resources for caregivers, people who have loved ones who need that 24-hour care or someone to supervise them, help them with daily activities and oversee those things. So we decided to, even if you're not hospice, open a caregiver respite program where for a week at a time, you can actually rent a room from us. We wanted to make it really affordable for families. And so it does cost a little bit. This is one way that we support our hospice end of the program. It's about $500 a week of care, but you receive all the same amenities that, our other residents would receive, which is meals, home cooked meals 3 times a day, access to our beautiful garden out back, your own bedroom, and then, a bathroom that coincides with that. And then 24-hour supervision. So we have trained CNAs, certified nursing assistants on staff at all times at the Abby Hunt Bryce home. That's day and night. So it's 24-hour supervision and your loved one can just come to the home for a week. We, take care of them, make sure that they're safe. And then you as the caregiver are able to have that break, or if you need to take a trip somewhere, you have, a heavy week where you could just use that relief. That's what we're trying to serve.
And I want to go back to what she said, $500 for the entire week for 24/7 care and a place to be. So that's a huge opportunity for some caregiver respite. I know that we unfortunately have to close
meals.
Right. Yeah. Per day.
And I have to say my staff is extremely good at cooking. So it's good meals too. You're eating well at the Abby Hunt Bryce home.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I know we have to close, but people are going to want more information. Do they just stop by the Abby Hunt Bryce home? Do they call? Do they email? What can they do?
Sure, absolutely. So I just recommend going to our website. All of our contact information is on our website. Please feel free to call the number that's listed. Feel free to email the emails that are on there. Our website is morninglightinc as in incorporated.org. So morninglightinc.org.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, Madison, for being here. We really appreciate you and all the work you're doing. And I just hope more people learn about what you're doing and that we can help bring them to you for their last days, because it's a beautiful place. So, all right, folks, if you have an idea for a topic or you have something to share, or you have a question, you can email me at tina@joyshouse.org. And Terry, I'm going to let you talk about the sponsors before we head out.
Well, we've got some good ones. Absolutely. We're sponsored Caregiver Crossing, supported by AARP, AARP, leading a revolution in the way that people view and live life after 50. And we really love that they're working to empower people to choose how they live as they age. And we're also supported by our friends at American Village, a senior living community right here in Indianapolis, offering full continuum of senior housing and healthcare solutions designed to accommodate a variety of lifestyles, choices, and healthcare needs. And also a big thank you to our newest sponsor, Majestic Care. Majestic Care provides community-based skilled nursing through Indiana, Ohio, and Michigan, specializing in clinical services based on local needs. We appreciate y'all so much for joining us today, and we look forward to our next conversation next week. Until then, take care.